Hello, dear viewers. In this lecture, we shall discuss about network and its type. After that, we will discuss about the client server architecture and peer-to-peer architecture. Then, we will discuss about networking devices such as router and switches. Let's start with the network. What is network? Network is the interconnection of various communication devices so that these devices can exchange data. Another definition of computer network is where two or more networks are connected or interlinked. The best known network is Internet. There are different types of networks exists. These networks can be categorized using one or more technical attributes. One common attribute that is used to categorize network is geographic area. The three most common types of networks in terms of geographic area are: first, local area network (LAN), second, metropolitan area network (MAN), and third, wide area networks (WAN). Now, we will describe these three types of networks. Firstly, start with the local area network and is also called LAN. Local area network, a network, is usually links the devices in a single office, building or campus. One LAN can serve as single department, multiple groups or all users within a building. To link LAN devices, we can use cables or wireless LANs can be there, or a combination of both, that is wired and wireless, can be used to link LAN devices as shown in the figure. Currently, LAN size is limited to a few kilometers. In addition to size, transmission media and topology can be used to distinguish LAN from other types of networks. In general, a LAN uses only one type of transmission medium. The most common LAN topologies are bus, ring, and star. Early, LANs had data rate in range of 4 to 16 megabits per second. Today, however, speeds are normally 100 or 1000 megabits per second. The devices on a LAN are peers if there is no dedicated server, so that these devices can initiate a data transfer with any other device. Most elements on a LAN are called workstations. For example, a LAN may have any computing devices, PCs, printers, modem, workstation and other endpoints. These are also called nodes. For a node or any device to be connected to the LAN, interface hardware is needed for that particular device. This is known as adapter. Networking adapters are referred to as network interface cards or NICs. Advantages of LAN are: expensive hardware can be shared through LAN, provide cost-effective multi-user environment, productivity is improved as information storage, processing and retrieval is improved by LAN. Disadvantages of LAN: Installation and reconfiguration require technical and skilled manpower. Sometimes operational speed becomes slow due to resource sharing, improper authorization and security problems due to insufficient knowledge of network administrator. Wide area network. WANs are constructed by interlinking of networks located at two or more sites over geographical distance that exchange beyond the span of a single metropolitan area. These includes linking of cities, countries, telecommunication circuits, link each building to facilitate operated by a telecommunication provider. An example of a switched WAN is X.25. This is a network designed to provide connectivity between end users. X.25 WAN is nowadays replaced by a high speed, more efficient network called frame relay. Frame relay is a virtual circuit technology that provides services at the physical and data link layer level. Services with fulfilling the demands like higher data rate at lower cost, less overhead due to improved transmission media. This technology also provides bandwidth on demand and is called bursty data. Advantages of WAN. It has no limit of area. Global integrated network facility can be provided to various large organizations by WAN. It supports global market and businesses. Disadvantages of WAN: big and complex network, slow in speed, less secured and not reliable. Now, metropolitan area network, MAN. MAN are created by linking the networks located at two or more sites within a city. That means we are now connecting two or more LAN networks within a same city. These LANs either using same type of topology or may be constructed with different type of topologies. Connections can be made using cabling or wireless technologies. An example of MAN is the cable TV network that originally was designed for cable TV but today can also be used for high speed data connection to the internet. This is the figure which shows the connections of different sites within a city and construct a MAN. Advantages of MAN: an organization can connect all its branches existing in the same city. It is economical due to sharing of costly resources for all branches of company. Disadvantages of MAN: difficult network installation and requires skilled persons. Installation cost is very much. This is the table which shows the comparison between LAN, MAN and WAN. Point of view: LAN, MAN, WAN. First, range. The range of LAN is 1 kilometer, while in MAN it is up to a city, and for WAN it is unlimited. Authority: for LAN, authority is a personal. For WAN, it may be a company or an organization, whereas in WAN no authority is required. Cost: LANs are at normal cost available, MAN at high cost, whereas WAN is very high. Connectivity devices: in LAN we required cable media, in MAN cable media and telephone lines, in WAN telephone lines, microwaves and satellite. Speed: for LAN it is 0.1 megabit per second to 100 megabits per second. For man it is 1 megabits per second, and for WAN it is 1800 to 9600 bits per second. Accuracy in LAN it is very good, in MAN it is good, WAN is medium. Now let us discuss about network relationships. In this part of lecture, we shall study two types of network relationships. One is called client-server relationship and other is called peer-to-peer relationship. Client-server relationship, the most common networking relationship is the client-server model. This networking model consists of three components: a client, a server and a service. A service is a task that a machine can perform, such as offering some files over a network or the ability to execute a command. A server is the machine that is responsible for performing the task requested by client, or we can say it is the machine that offers the services. A client is the machine that is requesting the services. These titles are generally used in context of a particular service rather than in labeling a machine. One machine's client may be another machine's server. There is a transport address for a particular service, and to offer this service to its client, the server must have this address. This is well defined location, similar to a telephone number that will serve to identify the services. The server associates the service with this address before clients can communicate with it. The client wishing to obtain a service from the server must obtain the transport address. There are several ways to do this. It may be hard coded in an application, or it may be founded by consulting a database, similar to searching a telephone number in a telephone directory. The database may be as simple as a single file on a machine. Peer to peer. Now we will move to the next relationship, that is peer to peer. A peer-to-peer network is a decentralized computer network that relies mostly on the resources of equal peers instead of few powerful servers. It means that there is no dedicated server in the network. The peers are often connected as an ad hoc network. Such networks can be used for many things, for example, sharing files, real-time data and telephone traffic, etc. In a pure peer-to-peer network, there are no dedicated client or server, but instead all the peers can function as both clients and server depending on the circumstances. An important idea in peer-to-peer networking is that all the peers provide resources to the network. These resources can be anything from bandwidth and storage space to computing power depending on the purposes of the network for which it is constructed. Thus, if more nodes connected to the network and the demand on the system increases, the total capacity of the system also increases. This is a major advantage of peer-to-peer networking over traditional networks using the client-server model, where additional clients could mean fewer resources available for each client. Type of peer-to-peer networks. First, pure peer-to-peer network. In this type of network, every peer can act as both clients and server. There is no central server managing the network because there is no dedicated server available. Third, there is no central router. Second type is hybrid peer-to-peer network. These type of networks have a central server that keeps information on peers and responds to requests for that information. Peers are responsible for hosting the information as the central server does not store files, for letting the central server knows what files they want to share. Now, let us discuss about some networking devices. First, we will start with router. A router is a network layer device that forwards data packets between computer networks, creating an over-relay internetwork. A router is connected to two or more data lines from different networks. When a data packet comes in one of the lines, the router reads the address information in the packet to determine its ultimate destination. Then, using information in its routing table or routing policy, it directs the packet to the next network on its journey. Routers perform the traffic directing functions on the internet. A data packet is typically forwarded from one router to another through the networks that constitute the internetwork until it reaches its destination node. Now, let us discuss about the working of a router. When LAN users need to connect to the internet or a remote branch office, then router is used. A router passes data between multiple networks. It provides at the network layer, which means that it must be available to understand the data packets so that it can route them to their destinations. Routers are essentially computers optimized for handling packets that have to be transferred between separate networks. Routers attempts to send packets from their source to their destination in the fastest way possible. On a network, packets with destination on the LAN go directly from the sending machine to the destination machine. But if the destination address of the packet is outside the LAN, the sending machine sends it to the router. When a router receives the packet destined for a point outside the LAN, it looks to see if it has the route to get the packet to the destination network. If it does, it will send the packet to the next point. The router forwards packet to their destination at the least possible cost. The cost with respect to the router is measured in hoops. Every time a packet is routed between one router and another, a number in the data packet called the hoop count increases by 1. Each and every routing protocol has certain limit for a hoop count. For example, RIP, Routing Information Protocol, allowing maximum to 16 hoops, and the packets will be discarded after 16 hoops. Router also perform various important functions like intrusion detection, authentication, encryption, etc. Advantages of router: they provide easily shared internet. Router chooses the best path for transmission. Disadvantages of router: data overhead and security and adaptability. Now, we will discuss about switch. A network switch is a computer networking device that is used to connect devices together on a computer network. A switch is considered more advanced than a hub because a switch will only send a message to the device that needs or requests it rather than broadcasting the same message out of each of its ports. As shown in the figure, a switch is a multi-port network bridge that processes and forwards data at the data link layer of the OSI model. Multiple cables can be connected to a switch to enable network devices to communicate with each other. Switches manage the flow of data across a network by only transmitting a received message to the device for which the message was intended. Each network device connected to a switch can be identified using a MAC address, allowing the switch to regulate the flow of traffic. Working of a switch. The process of switching means forwarding frames. In data communication, switches implement two basic tasks. One, frame forwarding. It forwards the frame received from the input media to the corresponding output media. Second, address learning process. It constructs and maintaining the switching address table to maintain the switch operations. Frame forwarding. The switch forward frames according to the MAC address. Forwarding of frames by switch is done on the basis of following rules. If the destination MAC address of the frame is broadcasting addresses or multicasting addresses, the frame is forwarded to all ports of the switch except the source port of the frame. Second, if the destination address of the frame is a unicast address, but the address is not in the address table of the switch, the frame is forwarded to all the ports except the source port of the frame. If the destination address of the frame is in the address table of the switch, forward the frame to the corresponding port according to the address table. If the destination address and the source address of the frame are in the same network segment, the frame is discarded and switching is not performed. Address learning process. In the address table of the switch, one entry is composed of one MAC address and the resident switch port number. The generation of the address table is through the dynamic self-learning, namely, when the switch receives a frame, the source address and the input port are recorded in the switching address table. Advantages of switch. They provide packet handling and collision management in the network. It also performs bandwidth utilization. Disadvantages of switch. They are complicated configurations when packet handling is needed, including risk like IP addresses, spoofing packets, capturing, etc. Difference between router and switch. This is the table which shows the difference between these two devices. So, in today's lecture, we have discussed about networks, their types and networking devices. In the last, we discussed the difference between these networking devices, that is router and switch. In the next lecture, we will discuss about addressing. Thank you for watching.